Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, July 31st. Welcome to the Plant-Based Morning Show presented by Compliment, sponsored by Compliment. Lovecompliment.com is the place to go get those plant-based supplements. I was just taste testing some new ones today, Doug, some secret formulas that are in the pipeline.
Mhm.
I don't think we can reveal any information about that yet, can we?
Nope, not yet, but I've been doing the same. It's been a busy week of taste testing. Hey Matt,
Yes.
have you noticed my very subtle product placement that I've added to
Oh,
the
no,
back?
I like that.
Yeah.
Smart.
Uh-huh.
How long has that been there?
Uh, a while.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe it's having a subliminal effect on people, even if they didn't.
Yeah, there you go.
You
Uh-huh.
should get into subliminal messaging, just kind of flash things on the screen that can't be perceived. All right.
Speaking of
Well,
subliminal messaging, I'm wearing my blue today because for Team Red, White, and Blue, I watched women's rugby last night and
mhm,
rugby sevens, which I have never watched before. Know very
yeah.
little about rugby. Learned quite a bit learned basically everything I know about rugby last night. And oh my god, it was some of the best sporting events I've ever seen. It was so
Is,
good.
is that the one where USA got the bronze medal because that Australian woman let her plow her over?
Yes, yep, that
And
was
was
it. It
that
was one of the
that's not
most
normal
exciting.
rugby, or is sevens the same as rugby?
Uh, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, is there a separate event rugby, or is rugby sevens is rugby?
Rugby sevens is, I think, a type of rugby, maybe. But it's 2 7-minute halves. It's short games, so it's like real intense and real
Oh,
fast
okay.
and short. And then there's some stoppage time and stuff like that you add. But I mean, it was one of the most incredible matches. That bronze match, like seriously, it was super intense. And then they plowed her over in the stoppage time, basically. Or I don't know if that's what they call it,
Right.
but
So
and so they scored.
I only saw the highlight of it, and my first thought, because I don't have any rugby experience watching, but I thought, why is there nobody back? Like, why did they only have to beat one person and then they're in the end zone? Like, wouldn't you put, if that's the situation in the game, wouldn't you put like two or three people back there to make like safeties in football?
Yeah, I was wondering that too a little bit because all game they're just basically in a line, and then
Mm-hmm.
but then you pass backwards. You can't pass forward. You have to pass backwards, and so the line just kind of like shifts and like snakes around and stuff like that. And, I'm sure it's all strategy. I mean, like I'm not going to tell them how to
You don't think he was a
how
coach?
to work,
You
but
think that was a coaching error
especially
by
on
the
the offense
Australians?
like that because they pass it all the time, and there's like oftentimes like multiple people around the ball at the same time because they're
Right.
whatever they're talking about, they're all like scrummed up and then they kind of throw it back. And so I think you just want a lot of players up front or like
Right. You just can't afford to have somebody back because then
yeah.
you'll get beaten.
But
Yeah.
man, it was cool. So like I said, I know nothing about rugby. I don't really have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you want to watch 14 minutes of intense sports, go watch that
Okay.
bronze medal
All right.
match.
Maybe I will do that.
hmm I enjoyed it.
Uh, Britter says it's a side-to-side game mostly. That's why it's like versus spread out a bunch.
Mm.
That's why it's like that, I guess. Okay, so maybe that explains it a little bit. Uh, yeah, I don't know, but I mean, like I said, I only saw that highlight, but it sure looked like a good moment. I thought they missed the extra point thing, and then
hmm
then it led to that chance. So anyway,
And I
very
and that
interesting.
it was a replay for me, but I had no idea who won. I was just looking for something to watch and picked it,
Mhm.
and I was like screaming at the TV. Those final seconds. Katie came out. She's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "I don't know. It's so exciting."
Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, first medal in U.S. women's rugby history. I think I saw.
hmm Yeah.
That's cool. I also watched a little bit of the 3-on-3 basketball. Have you seen that
Oh
yet?
no, I haven't seen that.
It's really weird. I don't understand why it's an event. Uh, Jimmer Fredette was the men's team USA captain, and he's like 35. He was at least a college star. I guess he made it to the NBA. I don't know how well he did. I don't think that well. Um, I can't imagine that there's not 10,000 people who are better at 3-on-3 basketball than him in the country. So I don't understand how he's the captain. But anyway, it's just like a little less than half court size thing they're on. You have to clear it out, just like in street basketball on a half
Really?
court.
It's
Yeah, it just doesn't give me Olympic sport vibes. I just don't get how it is one. But apparently, this is not even the first Olympics of it. It happened in Tokyo as well.
wow, interesting.
Yeah.
And Anne Marie says she's watching the women's triathlon right now, which
Oh, okay.
I thought that happened already. Maybe not, because I saw who won. Maybe there's different divisions or something. Um,
There's
Well,
a
that's
marathon,
cool.
right? In the
I'm
Olympics.
glad they were able to do it and swim in the river.
Oh, the river was unswimmable.
Yeah, even as close as yesterday because of the rain. It was
Okay.
too dirty. Yeah, but they pumped like I don't know, $1 billion or something like that into cleaning it up. It hasn't been swimmable in 50 years or something like that.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
I was going to say something. Oh, there's an Olympic marathon, right?
Oh yeah.
But no ultra running yet.
No ultra
50K?
running.
No.
I
I feel
know.
like 50K should be a
I
sport
know.
instead of
Like
3-on-3
there
basketball.
needs to be a cross country course, like a 10K or something like that, but trail.
Trail running thing.
That'd
We
be
should
cool.
have trail 50K.
Trail 50K would be awesome.
That'd be better than 3-on-3 basketball to me. And a lot of other sports.
Yeah.
All right. Daniel P says off topic, but actually this is quite on topic. She said, I was happy to hear on the radio today that they were talking about the study that shows if you eat vegan for 2 months, they can determine reduction in biological age. This is a massive, massive thing. So that's our main thing today. We'll get to after the weather report. I always tell you when there's one story that just dominates the news feed. If you go Google vegan diet news, you'll get 4 pages of results that are only this story. And
Wow.
then finally you'll get another one. And then it's still several pages where it's almost all the story. I mean, it's everywhere. So it's really good to see news like that spreading. It's surprising always to me what does spread. But I guess maybe the normies can grasp eating a vegan diet for 2 months because it doesn't sound like everything you're doing is wrong and everything you know about food is wrong. It just sounds like, hey, here's a good diet you can do. Anyway, we'll get into that in a minute. In the meantime, anything else? Doug, I guess we should say hi to people who are here. It's Britters, Alley, Garuda Legends, KDC, Brandon Turner, Kate A.K. Rivercat, Carmen, who's running, Anne Marie's here watching triathlon. I think I already said Britters, and Danielle P. So there we go. All women today, and Brandon Turner, and Garuda. Not all women today.
But thanks everybody for being here.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that Twitch donation was a fake.
I never forgot to go check that.
Yeah, I did too, but
We'll have to check it. I think my bank account didn't get anything directly come into it. I know that much. Yeah, I mean, there's no way. Unless there's a Twitch account, like a little, Twitch escrow account that holds it, and then I need to go in there and input a PayPal address. I'll go check.
maybe it's in crypto or something.
Maybe. Good thing. All right. Let's get to weather report, and then we'll circle back about that money in a minute. All right. We've been talking about Juicy Marbles a little bit because they were in the Charlie Steakhouse in Orlando that I did not go to get the FU steak, whatever that thing is. Freaking unbelievable steak or something. Anyway, they have launched an updated version of their plant-based ribs on edible bones, which you may remember we talked about that a year or two ago now.
Yep.
When they put out these ribs that had these soy-based bones that you can eat, and everyone said, I guess it's cool, but why do we care about eating the bones of the ribs? Because no one would do that anyway. Anyway, they've launched an updated version, and now they're nutritious and clean label baby ribs. So a little like the Chili's baby back ribs song.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
Doing that. Anyway, now they have nutrient density, tender texture, simpler ingredient list, marble 3.0, they're saying is the recipe, meaty, umami-rich flavor, more essential micronutrients, no thickeners or binders, and it's a little smaller, 350 grams compared to whatever must have been bigger. Perfect bone-to-flesh ratio. This sounds like an ad. Plant-Based News wrote this. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Are you going to try these? Doug, are you going to send away and get these ribs?
Marbles, baby back ribs. I'm not going to send away for it, but I mean, I would try them if they were available to me.
Well, they are. He's going to go to the website and order it. That's what I mean by send away.
I don't know. Are you gonna send away for them? Juicy.
No, I don't order food like that.
I'm
not going to go order food from any website. I just don't. It's not part of my worldview.
From any website, not even like
Whole Foods. I mean, Thrive Market maybe. I'm not going to go to a company's website and get their food sent to me. It's just not how people shop. Is that how you shop, Doug? You order burritos that way?
I shop. Whoa, have you seen it?
What, the ribs?
I guess it's been a minute since I've seen it. Check this out.
What, the Juicy Marbles ribs?
Yeah, it looks like meat. Kind of.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think Right. That's why Juicy Marbles is like the leader in this whole cut filet thing, and that's why that thing at Charlie Steakhouse is $67.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
it's
look at
supposed to
that.
like
Look at that marbling. Pretty cool.
oh, it looks a little fake though, doesn't it?
It does. It like it's like too shaped almost.
Right. It looks like the fake bacons that they put the fat in.
Mm-hmm. All right. How much does this cost? Shop. We're gonna figure this out real quick and then we'll move on.
All right. Let's figure it out.
All right, baby ribs. Ooh, those do not look good. Those look very fake.
Yeah. Edible
Well,
bones though.
look fake. Cooked, they look pretty good.
Okay.
2 racks for $60. 4 racks for 94.
All right. I'm logging into Twitch. If we got a donation, it will go directly to Juicy Marbles to buy ribs.
All right.
I'm going to check it out and we'll see.
We'll get.
And if anyone else wants to donate, I wish I could tell you a way to do it. I don't have a good way for you to do it, but if you did, we'd buy Juicy Marbles with it. All right, I can't seem to get into Twitch right now, so let's move on. But I mean, are you on board with the bone-in or the edible bone rib thing yet?
I mean, are you supposed to eat them, or are they just edible in the same way that like certain soaps are edible? You know,
right? That's a good question. I don't know.
Because there's no way I'm going to sit there and eat the bone. But it'd be nice to know if I'm like, taking the meat off the bone, that it's not plastic and toxic, but actually an edible thing.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. It's a weird, I mean, I'd rather honestly like have a food that didn't have the bone at all and just say this is like rib meat, but it's plant-based meat. That would feel less of a fake experience than this one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on here. I'm still trying to get into Twitch. Check on that money.
We got a Twitch Diggs BTW1.
Okay.
So
good. All right. Let's get the show back on track here. Next weather report item coming up. Last week we talked about the big meaty controversy, the lawsuit where they're saying this mycelium that they've been calling mushroom root on the packaging and in their marketing materials is actually mold. It's a red mold that grows on bread, and they haven't told us that. No one told us it was mold, and that is responsible for some of the allergies that people are reporting. So anyway, Food Dive, one of my favorite sites about food, they did an interview with the new COO. And it wasn't about this thing in particular, but it's CCO, Chief Commercial Officer John Bortles, who came from Pepsi, and he says they said just a couple interesting things here. That first of all, that mycelium was not a household name many years ago, and then he says it's still not today, but awareness is growing. So they want mycelium to be its own category. They say they do not want to be viewed with the other plant-based meats, and in fact, 40% of Meaty Food's customers have never tried a plant-based meat before. This is just, they go for meaty right away. Something about the mushroom root or the clean ingredient label entices them. And you have to imagine they wouldn't be quite as enticed if it said mold protein on it. But anyway, they're going for their own thing. They don't want to be lumped in with this failing plant-based meat industry. And the most interesting thing he said to me is that they're kind of trying to defend it and saying that mycelium is a root-like structure of a fungus that resembles the shape of a mushroom under a microscope. So if you look at this mycelium in a microscope, you do see fruiting bodies, which are technically tops of the mushrooms, he says. Whether it's mushroom roots or mycelium or mycoprotein, it's a new category. But it sounds like that's their defense here, is that if you look under a microscope, there are little mushroom-shaped things, and they're coming off of the roots, and those are the fruiting bodies. And
well, are they mushroom shaped, or are they technically mushroom caps?
I don't know if there's a difference. The mushroom is just fungus, and maybe it's not a species of mushroom, but if it's in the shape of a mushroom, then it's fungus in the shape of a mushroom. I mean, I'm comfortable calling that a mushroom. The thing is, you have to look under a microscope to see it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but all of it's going to be everything. All this stuff is under a microscope. I mean, like to see it look like a mushroom, I guess. Yeah, it seems like a weird defense.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, he did talk a little bit about their future as far as products and things. So no one's viewing this as the end of the company as I thought it might be. But he says they're trying to get the ingredient deck of certain products down from 5 to 4 to 3. So already looks good, but they're going to try to make it even better to let the mycelium stand on its own, which is a bold move if everyone just views it as mold. That's still a problem. People have weighed in. I saw that they're saying, what's the big deal? If it's FDA approved, who cares? I think Mr. Jeffrey wrote that comment on YouTube. And it is true. It's plenty safe to eat, but still marketing nightmare to have to get people to eat your mold.
That's why you just use mycelium.
Yeah.
Daniel P says that I still support meaty. I'm not allergic. I still haven't had it, but I still support it for sure. I have no problem eating this mold unless it makes me sick, and then I'll be very disappointed.
I told you last time, the first time I had it, I didn't have any stomach issue. But then after I heard about Bianca's thing where she threw up all night from it, when I had it again, and this could totally be just like a fake, psychosomatic thing. I swear my stomach was upset from eating a lot of it. And now I'm thinking, no wonder I ate a bunch of mold. Of course my stomach was upset.
Eat your mold, kids. Hate whatever got. I like that. It was a good thing we talked about this on the podcast the other day because Bianca said on Discord that she almost went and got some more, thinking that it wasn't actually the meaty meat that.
So did she chime in? She actually heard the episode?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Glad to hear that.
She felt vindicated.
Good.
All right. What's next?
All right. Well, I got into Twitch. No reward. $0 has been donated. So we will not be buying any stuff.
Dang. I was really hoping for some.
Hold on. Echo happening to me because I'm in Twitch. Okay. Good. All right. Moving on. Last story of the weather report is an interesting one that we might talk more about. It's kind of one of those am I the a-hole from Reddit. It's actually not from Reddit, but they mentioned that it came from Reddit, so I don't know exactly which board it was posted on, or whatever they call it, subreddit. But it's an interesting one. We can weigh in here. This man asked users for their opinion there. He describes his girlfriend as amazing and says they're super compatible in a lot of ways, but her commitment to veganism has presented a significant challenge. She sat him down and said, it's either me or your beloved cat, Mittens. You got to pick one. Ultimatum. Because she says owning a pet violates the principles of veganism. And then this article adds some confusion by saying, indeed, cats are obligate carnivores, so their food contains meat. And so I think the article is flawed here, misinterpreting. I think that's not why it's not vegan to have pets. Because animals are going to eat, what they're going to eat in the wild just as much as they would not. So it's not that cats eat meat. Plus, we see all the time now that the cats aren't necessarily obligate carnivores. We see lots of articles about vegan cats potentially being healthier in certain studies than the non-vegan cats, which is shocking to me still, because I always assumed that this was true. But anyway, so very confusing. The headline of this article is, "Can cats eat vegan food?" So I just think they're missing the point. I think the point was, and I think if you ask like PETA, they would tell you having pets is not a vegan activity. I always tell myself, as long as we're adopting our animals, then they're going to be killed anyway if someone doesn't adopt them. So it's okay for us to be the one that rescues them from that. And I think it's better than not doing that to do that. So, I'm okay with that. But anyway, he ultimately, I don't think he made a decision. I think he was mostly thinking he was going to stick with his cat. Some people gave some feedback and said, I did the same thing once. It wasn't a vegan thing, but the girlfriend said, you have to get rid of the cat. And he did. And then they broke up a few months later. And he said it was the worst decision he ever made. He gave away his beloved cat for a girl. And then, it just didn't last.
Yeah, I get so many problems with this. I mean, one, he didn't buy the cat after they started dating, right? Like, just in the same way that I still use a leather wallet that I've had for 15 years,
Yeah.
Maybe longer, since college, probably. Middle school. I don't know how old I am. Not middle school.
Yeah, but what if Katie was vegan and said, Doug, you have to get rid of that wallet or get rid of me? You'd just say, okay,
I would get rid of the wallet over my wife for sure. but what I'm saying is, it's like, if you have something, like, use it, honor it. You have a pet, like, you're just going to give it away. It's not, or have it be put down. Like, it makes no sense that the cat is still in existence.
Right.
You're
exactly.
somebody has to support and feed the cat, like, or you're gonna kill it, and that's not very vegan, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, it's one thing to like go out and adopt, or not even adopt, go out and buy a bred cat or something like that, and
Right.
it's very different from having a cat and then you go vegan, or you start dating someone who's vegan and you decide to keep the cat. Like, I just think it's so vastly different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I
also,
mean, this.
like you, I mean, I think that lots of times if you're adopting a pet or getting a stray or something like that, like, you're doing way better for the animal than ignoring it or having it be put down or having it. I don't know. I think like you can honor the animals by taking care of them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if her argument really was the problem is that the cats eat the fish food or whatever meat food they eat, and that by having this cat be alive, it's going to keep eating more and more fish, and
Mm,
it's better to just not have this cat be alive anymore. That's a rough argument, right? Because then we can start arguing lots of species should be eliminated that are not vegan, and that's just to get you into murky water there. Yeah, I think she's a whack job. That's what I think. To me, this is not even an ethical conflict because as soon as she makes this demand, you realize she's showing her true colors, and you say, "Wow, this is not the person I thought she was. She's crazy." And then you run for the hills with your cat mittens, in my opinion. So I don't even see what the conflict is here,
true colors
right?
shine.
But he's heartbroken. He said he is going to stay with mittens, but he's still heartbroken that an otherwise perfect relationship would have to end for the sake of living a fully vegan lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, they don't say whether like she made him go vegan. I would assume that's like assume that he definitely had to do that.
Right.
And even
If
that's
you're
kind
getting
of
rid of the cat, but
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. I mean, not tough. It's straightforward to me.
Yeah.
Take care of your cat. Keep your cat.
Britta says, "Sorry, lady, but my cat is eating tuna because she loves it and deserves the world after being in an abusive household." And yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, we haven't made the switch to try to get our cat to eat vegan food. I don't know how. I haven't even looked into it. I assume it's way more expensive. But it's just what they eat right now.
I lost
Okay,
my cat in a roommate breakup.
you did?
Yeah.
I thought you didn't like animals at all.
I love cats.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You just don't like dogs.
And I don't know why we thought this was a good idea, because of course we weren't going to live together forever, but a roommate and I and DC got a cat together.
Yeah, it is a weird idea.
And he got
it.
Which is better because Katie doesn't like cats, but
gotcha. Do your children like animals, or do they have each a certain animal they don't like?
Oh my gosh, they would do anything for an animal. They've tried to convince us to get everything from rabbits to dogs to all the stuff.
Yeah, like a normal family. You just would get an animal for your children. But no, mom hates cats, dad hates dogs, so we can't have animals.
We're a vegan household. What can I say?
Yeah. Okay. On to the headline, the big story of the day. I picked the New York Post article just because it's fun to read when New York Post says something nice about vegan things and can't come up with something negative to say about it. So I picked that one as the one to cover specifically. Their headline is 2 months of eating vegan diet, quote, knocks years off your biological age. And the story here, the short version, the TLDR version, is that this came from the twin study. So they took, and I don't fully understand that, but this twin study thing is what the Netflix documentary with what's his name, Christopher Gardner was the head scientist on it. He's been on the Rich Roll podcast. Good episode if you want to go listen to someone smart about science talking about making basically a pro-vegetarian vegan argument. But anyway, he did this twin study. In that study, I don't know, it was kind of inconclusive results to me. The vegans had some better, I don't remember, did they have better weight numbers and heart numbers, but as far as muscle growing or maintenance, they weren't quite as good in some cases.
Yeah, I think it was heart numbers that were the best, most improved.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so this is like a new thing. It was published in the journal BMC Medicine by an American team of researchers. Yeah, I have to go look. Actually, I'm not sure if it's the exact same team who did the twin study or if they're just kind of using that data and doing a new thing now. But in this case, and this wasn't mentioned in the film, as far as I know, or in the media hype that surrounded the film. But now they're looking at levels of DNA methylation, in which New York Post says is a type of chemical modification of DNA that alters gene expression, but not DNA itself. And once they look at the twin study data through that lens, they, that the twin study, of course, was that one of the twins did an 8-week vegan diet, the other did an 8-week supposedly healthy omnivore diet, and they didn't want them to eat a bunch of junk processed food or anything like that. They did that, and what they found, they used this DNA methylation to infer the biological ages of participants and their organ systems, which is kind of a leap to me. Like, it's not like you suddenly reverse health and things in these organs necessarily. I mean, we already kind of saw that data, like we said, from the heart numbers or whatever. They're just looking at the DNA methylation levels within these organs, and somehow from that they estimate biological age. And they said that those who ate the vegan diet, but not those that ate the omnivorous diet, exhibited decreases in their estimates of biological age, known as epigenetic aging clocks. And Gardner himself, so it looks like it was the same team doing the work here. He said, we observed decreases in the ages of the heart, hormone, liver, and inflammatory and metabolic systems of participants who ate the vegan, but not the omnivorous diet for 8 weeks. So that's what happened. The only objection that New York Post can conjure up here is that we need to know about what happens if you eat diet for a longer period of time, and we've seen that, like that perhaps if there are going to be deficiencies on a vegan diet, they're not going to come up in an 8-week period necessarily, or not nearly all of them. So we can't just say vegan is therefore the diet everyone should be eating. But what we can say, based on this much, is that if you do it for a little while, you get some positive benefits in your biological age.
Yeah, but how long do they last? I mean, I guess, right? Like,
that is a good question. How long do they last? We don't know.
I mean, this is great news. I mean, honestly, obviously, it's really wonderful news. It's
yeah, it is wonderful, and it's wonderful that it is spreading around the way it has. That's honestly the very best part, because we kind of express this. I know I'm always cautious about being overly skeptical, because Vegan Stallion doesn't like when I am that way. But if you're making a Netflix documentary about your study while you're doing your study, and I don't know when they sold it to Netflix, but they were making a documentary because they were doing interviews all along the way with all the people, and they were doing them in goofy entertainment format. It seems like you sure kind of want the vegan diet to be better. And as soon as you have a dog in the fight, it's just hard for me to believe that you're doing really good scientific research. Because when you see something positive, you just say, okay, that's good, instead of saying, wait, is this definitely, or should I test something else and make sure this is true? I'm not saying Christopher Gardner's, not a good scientist, but it just seems so hard for anybody to overcome that bias, even if it's not a conscious one. So, that's just still in the back of my mind. Like, let's see a researcher who's on the other side do the same research and see if they can replicate it. I don't know, but like I said, I'm really glad this spreads around, because I do think, directionally this is right, and I think people should. It would be very hard for me to believe that an 8-week vegan diet for anybody wouldn't be a good idea. I'm not saying go it forever, but do it for a while. Like, that's, I don't know. I just think it's a good lesson to take from this.
I wonder, I mean, if you did 8 weeks every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or 8 weeks, yeah, every 6 months would be too frequent. Well, not too frequent, but it would be pretty frequent. Once a year, I wonder what that would do. Like, I wonder how long it takes for you to go back, like your omnivore diet,
right,
to kind of catch back up.
Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, that you could see that being a book thing that people sell, because that's people. I think people can grasp that idea of be vegan for 8 weeks. Maybe it sounds pretty hard for some people. For sure, it does. But in general, I think shocks to the system when it comes to nutrition and exercise generally are good things. We're supposed to experience those. We're equipped to experience those, and I think when we don't have those, things don't go so well. Which is why some of these goofy new things like what's Elo Health has a smart protein where you get exactly the right perfect amount of protein. And I'm sure one day when we can take this to its limit, people are going to be hooked up to IVs that drip them just exactly the right protein, every minute of the day, so everything's perfectly smooth instead of shocks, instead of ups and downs and fasts and famines. I mean, or feasts and famines. I think in general that's a very good thing. I've been reading a book called Anti-Fragile, actually rereading that book, which talks about that idea. It's not a health fitness book, but one chapter is. So anyway, I like that idea. I think maybe Doug, that should be your book. Whatever you're currently writing when you go on these little retreats, scrap it. The 8-week vegan diet once per year.
The 8-week, yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, sounds great. That's exactly the book I was writing, actually. So way to spoil it. No, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that it's approachable for everybody, right? And think about what kind of like big picture, think about what that would do to if everybody went vegan for 8 weeks. That would help. That would save a lot of animals.
Massive impact, right? It's like 17% of the year or something. So everyone's eating 17% less animals, assuming they don't go the opposite direction hard after they're done, which they might for a little while. So let's say 15 or 10% less animals consumed. I mean, it would be great.
It would be great. It'd be awesome.
But then the omnis are going to say, well, then you vegans should be doing an 8-week eat animals for 8 weeks each year.
To balance? Why would they say that?
Just to be fair, if they're going to make a concession, then we have to. It might actually be good. Like I said, the randomness and the shocks and all that. By that logic, it might be healthy for vegans to do that. Wouldn't work ethically, but yeah, it might have a positive benefit. I don't know.
So you work on the 8-week omnivore diet, and I'll work on the 8-week vegan diet. We'll see. We'll see how.
Put them together. Well, 8-week carnivore, 8-week vegan, and then the other 36 weeks of the year, 34 weeks of the year, you eat sort of flexitarian, Mediterranean. I mean,
we're not suggesting you do this.
I'm not. I think that actually would be a pretty healthy diet. Might be healthier than
that's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, like I said, that's the big news. So now you're informed. You can bring it up next time someone mentions something at a party. You can talk about this.
Do you think biological age is really that important?
I think a ton of it is marketing, right? Like, I think it's Peter Diamandis' company. He's the one who takes the 75 pills a day. Yeah. No, it's not his. I think it's David Sinclair's thing. Anyway, somebody has one of these things where it's basically Inside Tracker, except they had the brilliant idea of also letting you get a number with it. That is your biological age. And that little bit of gamification or whatever, I think has been so valuable for them, because suddenly people have this thing, all this confusing health data, boil it down to one number, what's your biological age? And now you got something that's fun, you can talk about, and you can compare it. So I think it's great for making people care about their health. Does it mean anything? I don't think generally boiling such complicated things as this down to one number is a good idea. I just don't think it really gives you much clarity. But I don't know. I don't know what goes into it, honestly. And also, by the way, that's not the same as what they did here, right? They looked at DNA methylation something, and they looked at that and what that means for. Like, I doubt whatever they mapped their DNA methylation levels to, whatever scale that then makes for biological age. I'm sure it's not the same method used in this Inside Tracker like thing that somebody else does.
Yeah, that's fair.
But so if you are looking at your DNA ages, or whatever that means, length of telomeres, I don't know. I'm sure that's a useful marker that means something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
I can tell you that if someone told me that I was biologically 60, I would be pretty heartbroken.
Yeah. I mean, you might be all that running. Your knees might be.
My knees might be, yeah.
But actually, it's kind of an interesting point here. What if you? I'm sure you could dream up a diet where the result of it is you get an improved DNA methylation that shows a lower age, but it also, you spiked your cholesterol in the process or some other thing. Like, just being biologically younger doesn't mean you're less close to death. You could actually get closer if you have something else specifically going. Like, I don't think this DNA measures any of that. So I don't really know. But
you think you could still rent a car if you're biologically 18? Your biological age is 18?
Yeah, right. Can you do anything? Or what if
Yeah.
you're young but you're biologically like 95 and they say, sorry, you
That's
can't.
true. Yeah. Inside Tracker says I'm 95. I can buy alcohol. Let's go.
Oh boy. All right.
That's all I got. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you
Yeah,
tomorrow.
that's it. Thanks. Long show today, longer than we've been doing. So
Yeah.
try to keep it shorter tomorrow. All right. Yeah. Have a good Wednesday, everyone. Watch some Olympics, and we'll be back Thursday. See ya. Hey, Vegan Stallion's here. We missed you, Vegan Stallion. You missed it, but listen to the replay. I mentioned you at one point.
And leave us a comment on the actual video, not in the live chat. And also like the video.